Hi, welcome to the Andrew Buckle video tutorial on Photoshop. I'm using 221, same for 220, 219, 218, etc. And it's creating a lovely sort of triangular burst just using vector shapes that burst out from a centre. So I'm just going to show you how I quickly create it, and I'm going to come back to this a bit later. So let's just go to this design, and you can see the design now. I'm just going to undo now. I actually did an early part of this tutorial which I had to stop. I'm just going to go back right to a fresh point and view and new guide layout. I always like guides when I'm doing something like this, so I'm just going to go with 10 and 10. So you've got 10 and 10 and you can see the guides there. What you can then do is use the guides, and I'm going to use the pen tool. So there's the pen tool, maybe in a different position depending on the customization of Photoshop. Use shape up here in the corner, and you can set and also the stroke should be set to 0. And then what you can do, just add a point at that corner point. I think I just slightly missed that. Right, let's just redo that. Sometimes even though you think you've done it, it just doesn't look right. Right, down to the centre. And then click there, and then back up here, and then up to this top one. So you've got this design now, this very, very basic triangle design. What you can next do is go to the next one. Just go down one. Just go down there and start again. Because what I want to do is, I could always deselect it now, but I'm just quickly doing it. So just go down to that one. Now that one has been deselected now. So what I can do, I can go to this one and then to this one, and it won't try and remove the points. Again, click and close it. Likewise, just go down here, then go down to the centre. Then up again to this one. That was obviously the last point of the previous one. Then click down there. And again, do exactly the same. Just start at this point. Always just go drift down one. And then go to the centre. Then go back to that point there. And then back down to that one. And so on and so on. So you can go around. Now I haven't changed the colours here. Well, you can change your colours as you go. You can just change them by just going up here. Say just change the colour there, or you can just go over to the layers panel, which you can find in window, and you can just double click on there and you can change colour. I normally do it afterwards. It's just as quick, just going through it. You can always then look at it and think, you know what, I don't like that colour or this colour, and then just go through it like that. And you can run all the way around the whole edge, and you just keep doing exactly the same thing, just going all the way around, all the way. So you can say, like, go up here, and you can do exactly the same. Go to the centre, and then to this point, and then to there. And change the colour again for that one. If you want to change the colour, just quickly click there, maybe make it brown, or whatever. Now what you might like to do, you might like to keep the colours consistent. So this colour down the bottom to be the same. The colours here, so they all match. So this one over here, just make certain the colour there is the same as the colour there. And that's why it's probably easier just to do it afterwards. So if you've got this, let's say, let's do this design here. So just click there, and click there, click there. Just make certain that that colour and that colour, so you end up with a nice seamless design. If that's what you want, you don't have to have a seamless design. But if you want a seamless design, just make certain the colours, like the orange and orange, matches up. Flesh colour, brown and brown, pink and pink, match up on the other side exactly. But you don't have to have that if you don't want that. So let's just go back to this design now, and you can see what I've done. Now I haven't done that with this because you can see this colour here does not match that. So if I go now to edit, and let's define that as a pattern. So I can define it as a pattern. Then I'm just going to quickly go to layer, and then I can go to new fill layer and pattern. Click OK. And then you can see design there. So if I reduce the size, let's say to 50, you can see it doesn't match up. Obviously I've got a green there, that matches, but these ones do not match up. If you want it to match up, obviously just carefully make certain the colours are identical. It's up to you. But you can see the sort of design, end result of the design. So you can just do this. But anyway, I don't want that at the moment. What I want to do, you can define it at any, oops. I've got view pattern preview on. You can see pattern preview. Pattern preview is really quite nice. However, weirdly, my GPU, for some weird reason, seems to be, there's an issue with the current version. I'm not certain why. So I can't see the pattern preview outside there. I've got the pattern preview on, but it's just not being visible around the edge. So odd. Something to do with the GPU. Do not know why. But that's the thing. So I can just resize that, just put it back there. What you can also do, of course, you can turn it into a smart object, which I already have. But you can say simply just go to layer and a smart object, convert to smart object. So it converts into a smart object. You can obviously convert smart object to a smart object to a smart object if you want as well. Once you've done that, what you can do, you of course can apply effects to it as well. You don't have to use it as pattern design, perfectly reasonable if you want to. But you can also go to filters, maybe go to down here, distort and twirl. So you can just twirl the design. So you can create a nice sort of twirl design like that. Or, of course, what you can do, you can always quickly, and I'm just going to select this, I'm just going to select another shape. So I select a shape like this, and that's a shape, yep. So you've got that shape design there, and you could put it center like that. And then with that there, let's just drag that below, just go to that one again. What you can do, you can go to a layer and create clipping mask. So you've got that shape, as long as you've got the shape, the vector shape, it has to be a vector shape. Below, create a clipping mask, and you can see then you've got the clipping mask for this design. And you can go down to here, to the there, and you can modify, of course, this design. And you can resize it, hold down the shift, you can move that around, maybe rotate the design, and create all kinds of different designs using that clipping mask. You move the contents as well. And you've got that design there. And of course, what you can do, if you want to, you can set the whole thing. So both the clipping mask and the design, the contents, and you can turn that into a smart object. So layer and smart objects convert to smart object. And you don't have to use a rectangle. You can use any vector shape. It could be a circle, stars, whatever. But now, of course, what you can also do, you can quickly go to layer, you can go bevel emboss, you've got your bevel emboss there, and maybe a drop shadow added to the design there. So you can create all kinds of, let's just go for layer and layer style and drop shadow. And of course, once you've done that, you can duplicate that design. And again, you can see I've still got, it wants to persist, that pattern preview. Turn it off, pattern preview. Trouble is, what happens when you undo, it goes back on again. So if you turn it off and then you undo, pattern preview kicks in again. It's a bit of a slight, you can hold down the Alt or Option key and you can duplicate that design and fill the screen with that. And of course, you can use that design as a pattern source as well. Now, another thing you can do, of course, you might not like the color scheme. Let's just go back to that without the clipping mask. So you've got that smart object there. You can go to image, adjustments, and maybe hue and saturation. And then you can just recolor all of that design. So you can just change it to create all kinds of different designs that way. Another thing you can do, you can of course duplicate the design. So just hold down the Alt or Option key. See what I mean again? View, pattern preview. I have to keep checking. The trouble is when you don't see it spread out across the whole screen like normally pattern preview would do, you don't know it's on. You just think it's just a normal sort of document. Otherwise, it's just sort of, okay. And you can then resize it. Resize that design. Hold down the Alt or Option key and duplicate the design. It always comes up with that message saying it can't do that. Again, you can rotate, and then of course what you can do, you can always go to layer, again layer style and drop shadow. And you've got the design there, and you can sort of, so you can create some interesting sort of colourful designs. And of course you can still modify all these colours. So you've got here hue and saturation. You can always double click on this one and you can change that one. So you can change, they're independent. That smart object is different from that smart object. However, of course, the thing with smart objects is that you can always double click the design. So just go there, just a little bit, just that one there, double click, and you're into the design. And you can see then, you can double click again, because of course it's another, and you can still see all the individual parts. So if you decide to, and and I'm not, but you could think, you know what, I don't like it being red there. But you can double click on that, so you can change that one. So you make it green. And again, like I say, if you want to make it sort of nice uniform around the entire edge, if that's what you want to do, perfectly reasonable. Or of course, you could, within this, you can always go for maybe, let's not do that. I'm just going to go for an ellipse. Just add a center. So you can add a quick center to the design. Like that. Or so on. Or maybe add a clipping mask to that. So you've got all these designs here. You can manipulate it in thousands of different ways. And of course you can also change these, reduce it, maybe combine on top of these. Add additional ones. So you can always, let's deselect everything and then go over to the pen tool again. Of course, if you want, bring back view, new guide layout. So you can see the guide layout and then just add some additional ones. You can always manipulate it in numerous other ways. Combine it, maybe make a different grid and add layers on top of that. Maybe use blending modes between different shapes to create an interesting combination. So you can simply, let's just go, where's the pen tool? Pen tool over there. You can simply go there, and instead of using just one of the cells, maybe use two. So you just go down there, go to the center again, and then go up there. You can see then you've got that design there. Well, what you can do, you can always go to blending modes and go through, and you can see you could change things like that, and so on and so on. A whole load of different designs you can create using different combinations of shapes, whatever. And also, of course, you can apply effects to this one and then come back. But once you're finished, just close the document, close that document again. Of course, I've got too smart of it, and the design will be updated there. And again, you can still continue to manipulate this design as well. Well, I hope you found this tutorial of interest. Always any new tutorials about Photoshop, Illustrator, Affinity Photo, Affinity Designer, and many others. Also, if you've got any questions, something maybe I did a bit too quick, didn't explain well enough, please let me know in the comments. Always appreciated, always nice to hear sort of things. I'm quite willing to accept that I did something. You might think, why didn't you do this or that? Please ask some questions on that. Also, a dislike or like, always appreciated as well. Thank you much.